되치려는 게 아닙니다. 여러분들에게 기회를 드리는
이런 게임을 보시는 일이 딱히 이 세상을 바라보는 것과 이렇게 동떨어지지 않은 일이 될 것이라고 생각을 하고요.
Describing the protest outside the Hannam-dong residence as a real-life Squid Game vividly illustrates the intensity of Korea's raw political reality. On December 3rd, President Yoon declaration of martial law sent shockwaves across the nation. This event has exposed the deep political polarization in South Korea. The divide is especially evident in the protests unfolding outside the presidential residence.
사실 지금 나라가 위기에 빠졌잖아요. 그러니까 그런 것 때문에 저도 한몫하고 싶어서 몸으로는 여기 못 오더라도 영상으로나 뭐랄까 응원은 계속 하고 싶습니다.
다 같이 모여있으니까 더 따뜻하게 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 사람들이 많이 모일수록 그 힘이 더 강하다고 생각해요. 반드시 저희끼리 모여서 꼭 이뤄냈으면 좋겠습니다.
Then, on January 19th, President Yoon became the first sitting president in South Korea's constitutional history to be arrested, escalating division and clashes even further. In particular, some supporters protesting the arrest warrant stormed the court and caused chaos, an incident widely criticized for going beyond free expression and undermining the fundamental order of democracy. The ideological divide between progressives and conservatives is becoming increasingly intense due to political polarization. In South Korea, ideological polarization has been a growing issue for years. According to a German research institute, South Korea's ideological polarization index, which stood at 0.36 during the 19th general election in 2012, rose to 1.26 at the 21st general election in 2020. Over the past decade, not only have political parties diverged, but voters' ideological leanings have also shifted significantly to the far left or right. The recent martial law incident has further exacerbated these divisions, intensifying political tensions across the nation. Of course, polarization is not a new phenomenon in South Korea. Regional divisions, deeply intertwined with political and ideological polarization, offer a clear example. Political tendencies became deeply rooted as early as the 1960s and 1970s, with the Yeongnam region consistently supporting conservative parties and the Honam region favoring progressive parties. More recently, the divide between the Seoul metropolitan area and non-metropolitan regions has also been growing. Where does this division stem from? South Korea's political polarization dates back to the ideological divide following the country's liberation and during the Cold War era. The Lee Seung-man administration entrenched anti-communist ideology while suppressing progressive forces. Later, the Park Chung-hee regime's authoritarian rule laid a foundation for the enduring Yeongnam-Honam divide. With democratization in 1987 and the introduction of direct presidential elections, the era of authoritarian rule formally ended. However, partisan conflicts only deepened. South Korea's political system, which closely resembles a two-party structure, has further fueled hostility between rival parties, leading voters to align more strongly along partisan lines. In 2008, large-scale candlelight protests against U.S. beef imports starkly illustrated how ideological conflicts could escalate into political confrontations. Similarly, during the Park Geun-hye administration, a corruption scandal intensified polarization by merging political and ideological divides with regional loyalties. The narrow margin between the two leading candidates in the most recent presidential election also underscored the extent of South Korea's deepening political polarization. More recently, advancements in media technology and the widespread use of social media have further exacerbated this divide. Online platforms, in particular, create echo chambers where individuals are exposed only to content that reinforces their political views, worsening generational and gender-based conflicts. The bigger concern is that this polarization is having far-reaching consequences across the South Korean society. It undermines social cohesion, slows national progress, and exacerbates economic difficulties by weakening consumer confidence and shrinking the domestic market. If political instability continues, South Korea could face additional risks, including the potential for a downgrade in its national credit rating. At this critical juncture, South Korea must seize the opportunity to turn this crisis into a catalyst for advancing as a more mature and resilient democracy.
But is polarization solely a South Korean problem? Political, ideological, religious, economic, and racial divisions are deepening worldwide. Even the United States, often hailed as the world's largest and most robust democracy, is grappling with similar challenges of division.
The so-called of Texas and California.
Extreme ideological clashes, power struggles, and social fragmentation, the movie Civil War eerily mirrors the reality we face today. In 2021, the storming of the U.S. Capitol exemplified how political polarization can escalate to the point of undermining and threatening the democratic electoral process. In Europe, far-right and far-left parties continue to coexist, heightening political divisions. Meanwhile, in Latin America, economic inequality and social instability have fueled intensifying confrontations between right and left-wing parties.
With polarization worsening across the globe, 2025 has to be the year for seeking true unity and reconciliation.